Hi, my name's Rich and I'm your Deicorp property consultant. Not everyone's bought off a plan before, so I created 2 5-minute videos to take people through the process. That way, when you visit the display with me, we can spend more time on the fun stuff like floor plans, looking at aspects, finishes, and looking at pricing as well. So part 1, which is this video, takes you through to exchange, which is when you sign the contract and purchase the apartment. And then part 2 gives you a little bit more detail, but it basically takes you through to settlement and move in. So let's get started. The first thing you need to know is your budget. There's no point looking at property if you don't know what your budget is. If you have the cash saved and you're pre-approved, then you're ready to go. If you've only done a online mortgage calculator, then you're really guessing and it's time to seriously look at your finance options. I'd suggest that after this video, if you need to get a mortgage broker, then now's the time so that you can work out what your budget's going to be. Tell them the suburbs that you're looking at, as many of the lenders are going to base their loan ratios on that information. Allow 3.9% for stamp duty for all Australians and New Zealanders except first home buyers, and for any overseas buyers allow an additional 8%. I always say that 50% of any good property decision is getting the right suburb. So you may already know the suburb or suburbs that you want, which is great. If not, part of my job is to help you understand some of the merits of the suburbs that Deicorp build in. At any one time, we could have 7 to 8 projects across town, and I can assist you with any of them. A lot of our location decisions are so we're right in the middle of great suburbs where people want to live. We are Sydney's biggest fan of rail transport, and everything we do is near rail. And the reason for that is rail gives our residents economic mobility. That means our residents get far greater employment and educational opportunities, and it's an easy way to access restaurants, cafes, shops for a balanced lifestyle. Over the longer term, this puts our apartments at the heart of high growth corridors across Sydney. So I highly recommend that before our meeting, get here an hour early, walk around the area, grab a coffee and get a feel for the place. Know the suburb before the project. When we're at the display, I have a lot of map suburb data as well. So things like council zoning, building heights, primary and secondary school catchments. I've got crime stats, income, employment, vacancy rates, price growth, and a lot more, so you can get a very good understanding of the suburb. So the next 50% of your good property decision is going to be in choosing the best project and lastly the best apartment for you. And that is why you should visit the display, and we can go through all of that then. For now, this video is all about process. So hypothetically, let's assume that you found the right suburb, the right project and the right apartment, and you'd now like to take that off the market because we're ready to go. So the first thing I am going to be asking you for is your full details, address details, email, phone number for all the purchases. You will need to provide IDs such as a driver's license or a passport copy is fine. You will need your conveyancer details or your solicitor details, so I am going to have to grab those as well. And the last 2 is the expression of interest deposit of $5,000 is transferred into a trust account, and I need a copy of that receipt. Most people just do that on their phones from within the display. And the last thing is you do need to sign a contract, but don't worry, you do, under New South Wales law, you do have a 10-day cooling off period in which you can, through your conveyancer or solicitor, you can ask for amendments to the contract, and you can even rescind it in full. So the only thing we would say is if you do rescind, which is pretty rare, but if you do, we do keep $750 for our legal costs. So just be aware of that. Otherwise, everything is refunded in full. And prior to any incurring any legal costs on our part, we typically give you all your money back anyway. So it's really just a show of good faith that we go through all of those. So as mentioned, you do have a 10-day cooling off period. And at the end of the 10 days, assuming that any amendments are done or everyone's happy, the Deicorp contracts, we did 1,000 in the last 12 months, so there aren't usually too many changes because they're quite fair, is that you will need to pay the 10% deposit. So I would strongly urge you to check in with me just to double check the bank details for such a large transfer. It's always good to have two sources, one being a conveyancer and the other me, and then you can go ahead and make that transfer. In New South Wales, all deposits are paid into a trust account for your security. And now you can pop the champagne as the apartment's all yours. There are a number of extra steps in the next video which goes through pretty much from now through to settlement and move-in, so I highly recommend watching that one. And I'll also leave you with my direct contact details, so feel free to reach out on my mobile or email directly, as I'm here to assist. And as a first point of contact, please feel free to shoot me an email or give me a call.